Hey everyone, and welcome to a spooky episode. Ooh, spooky. I say as Halloween was yesterday. For today's video, we are going to talk about a one-off campaign we did during Halloween. And guess what? Skeletor makes his return! Yay! Yay! Skeletor! Yay! Wait, how am I clapping? I don't have hands. Anyway, on to the story. So this one-off was basically like the last video, where essentially everyone's in a dream world and we're battling in a gladiatorial combat arena. Only this time it's spooky, with graves and all that. Anyway, Skeletor, Joli, and Torinn end up in a strange dream world. Only it's different from the last video. For you see, it's all spooky. There's fog everywhere. Everything looks like a graveyard. And the announcer was a witch. Hey guys, Future Me here, and turns out it was not a witch. It was a unidentified cranky voice. So for the sake of not recording this video over again, we're just going to call it a witch throughout the entire video, so I don't have to record everything all over again. So, yeah. Good luck past me. The announcer tells us that we are going to do 3 spooky battles. Dracula laugh. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to read that. Anyway, before we can even do these battles, we have to solve a riddle. A spooky riddle. Dracula laugh. Dang it, I did it again. The witch asked us the first riddle, and we couldn't solve it. Yeah, the thing about the riddles was that they were actually jokes, but we were overthinking it at the time, so we couldn't solve the first one. And because we couldn't solve the first one, we couldn't get a hint at how to fight the monster. But we figured it out eventually. By accident. The first battle begins, and we are fighting a weird stoner monster. Yeah, a stoner monster. And since the creature didn't have a defined race, we're just going to use Shaggy for this. Nevertheless, we were fighting this monster, and unfortunately, it didn't exactly seem like it wanted to fight. Every time we hit it or do damage to it, it would go, "Hey man, you gotta chill out, man, like go with the flow." Eventually, it was the creature's turn to fight, and it smoked its joint. And when it did so, it used the smoke from its joint as a breath weapon. Fortunately, Joli was not in the area that, the breath weapon affected, but Skeletor and Torinn were. Torinn failed his saving roll, so unfortunately the smoke kind of made him cough a bit, while Skeletor succeeded in his saving throw, and all the smoke did was give him 5 temporary hit points and make him a bit buzzed, which would explain what he's about to do next. Because Skeletor was a bit high, he decided to be silly. Like, for instance, his attack on the creature was basically vicious mockery, which the creature did not like, mostly because it worked on the creature. And unfortunately, we ran into a different issue, where the joint smoke was actually still there, so because of that, it made it harder to hit the creature. So Joli decided to use Gust to blow away the smoke. But when he did, he started blowing away the joints the creature was holding. This will be important later. Anyway, Skeletor spent all his attacks trying to make the creature sit on an illusion of a chair. Yeah, every time it was Skeletor's turn, he would just cast Minor Illusion and summon a chair and try to beckon the creature to sit on it. Unfortunately for the creature, he was being affected by the big windstorm Joli created. The first time Skeletor did that, the creature got blown away by the wind. Well, that didn't go as planned. The second time Skeletor tried that, Torinn threw a javelin and missed the creature, but ended up hitting the illusion of the chair, breaking the illusion. Aw, come on! This was gonna be hilarious! Fortunately, that was Skeletor's last attempt to do that, as every time the creature had a turn, it would get blown away by the wind, making it lose its joint. Eventually it ran out of joints and poofed into a pot-shaped smoke. Groovy man. And thus, the creature was no more. And on to the next battle. The witch gave us our next riddle, and we somehow managed to solve it. Essentially, the riddle was basically, why did the giant cat cough up the werewolf? And the answer was, because it had a hairball. And Joli kind of answered it in a very long, a bit confusing way. In fact, I don't even remember exactly what he said. So, all you had to know is we passed. Because we answered the riddle, we got a hint on how to fight the monster, but we kind of forgot about the hint, which will come into play in a little bit right now. The monster was a voodoo doll. Well, the Dungeon Master kind of explained it as looking like a weird scarecrow, but it was also a voodoo doll. Anyway, Joli uses his arrows to attack the creature, and Skeletor takes damage. What? Oh no! And just like that, Skeletor was left to 1 hit point. What just happened? Yeah, it turns out that the creature has a special ability that I had to ask the Dungeon Master about. So basically, you're not supposed to attack the creature, and there's a weird damage system where the Dungeon Master rolls some dice and it determines who gets hit with that damage. So, yeah, that was a fun thing to find out. Anyway, we decided to change our tactics, and we managed to win. So, before we went into the next fight, we decided to heal because we took quite a bit of damage from that fight. But, it was about to get worse. I don't exactly remember what the next riddle was, but we managed to get it. The answer was that the cup was holy, which, if you're hearing that statement, you probably can get a gist of what the riddle was. And thus, we got our last hint, which we kind of misinterpreted. So, oops. Anyway, for this battle, there were multiple scarecrow-like creatures, each with a pumpkin head. But what was also strange was that they all had different weapons. And some of them mimicked the weapons that we have. Now, when the battle first started, I assumed that the whole trick with this was that we were supposed to attack the creatures that have the same weapon as us. Turns out that is not how that worked at all. For instance, at one point, Joli did a lot of damage to the scarecrow holding a mace, and the pumpkin head on that creature split apart, revealing Skeletor's skeleton head. Wait, what? And then Skeletor was downed. No! Yeah, you see, the trick with this one was that all the creatures kind of had our weapons except for one. And we're supposed to attack the one that doesn't have the same weapon as us. And if the scarecrows with our same weapons get hurt, well, then we take the damage. Yay! We found it out as Skeletor got downed. Joli tried to use Spare the Dying on Skeletor, but we kind of ran into an issue. You see, when I made Skeletor, I essentially made him undead. And Spare the Living does not work on undead. Eventually, the Dungeon Master had to step in with the announcer character and say, I'll allow it. And so Skeletor was back. Only he got downed by the Scarecrow that had a greatsword. You know, the one we were supposed to be attacking. Yeah, you see, during the fight, the Scarecrow with the greatsword would either attack another Scarecrow or attack one of us. And because we were technically connected to these Scarecrows, every time this creature attacked one of them, it would do damage to us. You see, we could have figured this out sooner, but there was a trick to this battle. You see, every time we tried to talk, it would always sound muffled. So not only were the Scarecrows basically acting as like a voodoo doll for us, but every time we talked, it sounded like we were talking from inside the pumpkins. So yeah, communication was not gonna happen. Anyway, we basically figure out how to fight these things, and we win! Yay! And so, after fighting those 3 battles and getting downed a few times, we were victorious. And the witch says that she will give us a reward for our efforts. And what is that reward? Well, we don't know yet. I will leave a pinned comment about what the reward was later on, but we haven't really decided on that yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, and until next time, the Lazy Pug Tavern is always open. And remember! No, Skeletor, I already did that. Oh! Well, I'll just be going then. Weirdo. I heard that! Get back here! I'm not done with you yet!